Hi, I'm Impact TV. I'm here to discuss UFC 119's main event between Frank Mir and Mirko Crocop. Mirko Crocop, of course, has just stepped in for the injured Minotauro Nogueira. Alright, let's break this down to 5 main points. Firstly, my first point is going to be about Crocop. I'm going to discuss Crocop. My second point is, of course, going to be similar, but instead I'm going to talk about Frank Mir. I'm then going to talk about weaknesses and strengths of both fighters in this particular matchup. I'm then going to talk discuss where it puts both fighters, depending on the actual result, and of course, finally give my prediction and reason why I think who's going to win. And let's start about Crocop. Crocop is obviously largely a striker, and started off in K1 kickboxing. He never won a K1 Grand Prix. However, he was a two-time finalist. Crocop's ground game has never really been kind of praised or lauded. However, in my opinion, it is slightly underrated. His striking, however, was known for being one of the most deadly in the heavyweight division. Mirko Crocop's best years, I think, were, of course, in Pride, where he beat people like Josh Barnett 3 times, Wanderlei Silva twice, etc., etc. And since he came to UFC, he really hasn't impressed that much. He was knocked out by Gabriel Gonzaga and beaten by Sheik Congo. And in both those matches, they're gatekeepers, not really high-level opponents. And someone like Sheik Congo was blasted by Frank Mir. So since he went to the UFC, I don't think Mirko Crocop is still the same fighter. However, he does have an excellent resume with 27 wins. 27 wins, 2 draws, 7 losses, and 1 no contest. With someone like Mirko Crocop, in this fight, his was probably going to be favoured going into this battle with a stand-up due to his renown as a kickboxer. However, the big problem he's going to have the biggest problem he's going to have is going against someone like Frank Mir's size. Frank Mir, in his last bout, weighed in about 265 pounds. And regardless if he cuts weight or not, he's still going to be much larger than Mirko Crocop. He's about 230 at the moment. Alright, so that's about Crocop, really. That's all you really need to know about this bout. Oh, of course, I would like to mention, against someone like Junior Dos Santos, who was bigger, more powerful, and younger, in the same way that Mir is bigger, more powerful, and slightly younger, Crocop was destroyed in that bout, and actually was a technical doctor stoppage. I'm not really sure what it was, but anyway, he basically submitted due to the fact he couldn't see out of his eye. He got such a bad beating in that fight. However, his chin did hold up. He wasn't knocked out by Junior Dos Santos, unlike everybody else. Okay, minus Warren Nelson of late. Alright, let's go on to Frank Mir. Frank Mir isn't the same kind of, historically won't be remembered as the same level of heavyweight as Mirko Crocop. Frank Mir has some big wins against obviously Nogueira. He has big wins against Tim Sylvia, Sheik Congo, and of course Brock Lesnar. However, that was a really green and young Brock Lesnar, so I don't really count that. Frank Mir, unlike Crocop, is more of a submission artist. Most of his victories coming due to submission, while Crocop's obviously KOs, largely head kicks actually. So Frank Mir, in my opinion, he I don't think it's going to be too good. I think he could actually stand with Crocop due to his incredible due to his size and strength. But Frank Mir, a very clever Frank Mir, is just going to get this guy to the ground, which is at the huge advantage. Frank Mir is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he's going to get some of the best fighters in the world on the ground, and is actually beating them. So obviously he's going to want to be there. And Mirko Crocop against Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts, e.g. Minotauro Nogueira, he was submitted because he doesn't have. Okay, his ground game is underrated, but of course it's nothing like a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So being in that kind of situation really is a huge disadvantage to Crocop, if you know what I'm saying. However, one disadvantage for coming into this fight, Crocop has a good chin in my opinion, a very good chin in my opinion. Obviously he has his knockouts against the likes of Mark Hunt and Randleman, but they're more flukes really than anything. Kevin Randleman, they're more flukes than anything. Of course he got revenge in the Randleman bout. But Frank Mir his biggest losses, I'd say, against the likes of Brandon Vera, Brock Lesnar, Shane Carwin. They were all knockout or technical knockout, and he was devastated in all those bouts when he actually got knocked out. So his chin is very suspect, which is one thing that if Crocop can hit him right with a kick, he could knock him out. Alright, now let's talk about weaknesses and strengths of both fighters. Crocop's biggest strength is his stand-up, and he's got really good reach with his legs. So he's going to be in a slight advantage there. He's about the same size, but 6'2", while Mir's about 6'1". Oh, no, sorry, not 6'1", 6'3", so similar height. However, Mir's a much bigger man, about 30, 35 pounds on him, he should for this bout. Unless, of course, Mir cuts weight, but he's still going to be much bigger and much stronger. So, Crocop's biggest strength, and in my opinion, only really way to win this is through stand-up and to place a nice kick, kind of stalk his opponents like he used to do. Against someone like against Pat Barry, Crocop showed a lot of kind of improved cardio, which Mir's added size will Mir have that kind of cardio. So cardio could be a disadvantage for Mir in this bout. Well, cardio shouldn't be a disadvantage for Crocop, even though he's only in 5 weeks' notice for this bout. So that's obviously Crocop's biggest advantage. Crocop's biggest disadvantages are obviously Mir's incredible ground game and his size, his weight disadvantage. He's obviously not going to be as powerful with his hands, I wouldn't say. Mir's big advantage is his added size and his ground game. Much better than Crocop's ground game, of course. His biggest disadvantage in this bout is his chin, in my opinion. See, when Crocop hits a head kick and gets it nicely, I think we could definitely see Frank Mir being knocked out. And he looked very revitalized against Pat Barry. I don't think it was a great Mirko Crocop performance like everyone seems to be talking about on the internet. However, it was good and it was very impressive, much better than what we've seen in the past, seen in recent past. So that's their advantages, disadvantages, and advantages going to this bout. Now where does this put both people? Crocop at this stage, after being beaten by 2 gatekeepers and embarrassed by Dos Santos, where does that put you? He's already achieved so much in this business that Crocop, it doesn't matter what Crocop does, he's still going to be remembered as one of the greatest of all time. Top 5 greatest of all time heavyweights for the time being, of course. So it's not going to make too big an advantage. I don't think many people are expecting him to beat a younger, stronger, more hungry Frank Mir. However, it's really not going to make that big of a difference if he loses, I don't think, because his place in history is already, especially after that 2005 Pride Openweight Grand Prix victory, I think is sorted. However, if he does win, I'm wondering, would he be in the title hunt? Because that's coming out 3 straight wins in the heavyweight division. One of them would be, I think Frank Mir is ranked 6th in the world. So if another victory after this, if Crocop were to do it, he might be looking for a shot at the title soon. But that's all just of course speculation. Where a loss puts Crocop really is nowhere. This really won't damage Crocop if he loses. It could be very beneficial if he wins. It won't damage him if he loses. Frank Mir, on the other hand, is completely different. Frank Mir loses this. That's 3 losses and 1 victory in his last 4 bouts. No, that's Frank Mir. That's Frank Mir, in my opinion, gone as a title contender. He's then going to be a gatekeeper, like Sheikh Congo and like Gabriel Gonzaga. I think that Frank Mir cannot lose this bout if he wants to ever get another match with Brock Lesnar, and of course get his rubber match against Brock Lesnar. I don't think he's ever gonna. I don't think if he loses match, I don't think that's gonna happen. However, Frank Mir does win this match. It does put him into a position where he'll get a match against a fight against a higher fighter of a higher current ranking echelon than Crocop. E.g., a great examples would be maybe a rematch with Karen might be too soon because of the way Karen beat him. Roy Nelson would be a possibility, and of course the loser of the Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez fight. See, if Lesnar loses that might be the best way to for Mir to get a rematch, because I don't see Mir going through that division like I did it a year or 2 ago. I don't think it's going to happen. So I think he's going to need Lesnar to actually lose a fight before he gets another chance with him. But this is a really must win for Frank Mir, because if he doesn't win this, he's really put into almost oblivion in the heavyweight division. All right, now let's talk about where this let's talk about who I think is going to win. Personally speaking, I think Frank Mir has this fight. His ground game is much better than Crocop's. He's much bigger and should have the ability to take him down. I think Frank Mir's added size and strength is going to allow him to strike with Crocop for a while anyway, at least fist for fist. Now, Crocop were really, really motivated and really revitalized as he kind of looked against Pat Barry, and he started showing high kicks and all that kind of stuff. I think Mir is going to go straight to the ground, and on the ground I think it's over for Crocop. I don't see Crocop at this stage at 35, 36 being a stand against Frank Mir on the ground. He's had nearly 40 professional fights, 37 I think, Crocop's he looks like an old fighter. He looks like an old fighter who's not the same fighter as he once was about 3, 4, 5 years ago. So I don't think Crocop's going to win this. Again, I don't like Frank Mir personally. I think he's, especially in the Brock Lesnar match, he talked too much. And with Shane Carwin, the bout with Shane Carwin, he talked too much about Lesnar. He should have just focused. So I think this is different for Frank Mir, however, that he knows he's not going to get a match with Lesnar if he wins this fight. He knows he's not going to get that, so he's going to have to really, really focus on this fight alone. So I don't think that Lesnar this time will be blocking his view kind of, or his motivation. But I do think I still don't like the guy. So my heart really says someone like Crocop, who I absolutely adore as a fighter and have loved for years. But my head is saying Mir, because Mir's just, at this stage, I think a better fighter, a much more complete fighter at the moment. While Crocop seems to be slightly one-dimensional. You could say about that submission against Pat Barry, but anyone with reasonable ground game could submit Pat Barry. He has no ground game whatsoever. Alright, so that's my review for this fight. I hope you like it, and please rate and of course subscribe, and also give your comments at the bottom and with your own personal opinion of this fight. Thank you.